When a relationship breaks down, things can turn ugly, deciding who gets the dog or cat. But this couple, like many others, made that decision before they got married.
Meet the modern family. Casey, Travis and their two sausage dogs, Sammy and Frankie.
Well, they're essentially our fur children. We would have included them in the wedding if they'd been better behaved.
One thing they are included in is the pair's prenup agreement, making it a pet nup.
We think of them just like family, and dogs have a lot of really intelligent emotions as well. Why should they be treated any differently?
I think it certainly is a realistic and commercial approach to relationships.
More than 40% of marriages in Australia end in divorce, and it can be an incredibly stressful time separating. But making matters worse is the logistics of working out who gets what, and you don't want to end up in a tug-of-war over your beloved pet.
Often parties may break up and there may be two owners for that pet, so they do need to both be on top of the decision and putting the animal's welfare first rather than their own.
It's not just the rich and famous who get caught up in ugly breakups and pet disputes. Without an agreed plan or pet nup, everyday Australians can find themselves in a pet mess.
I think it's sad that you have to fight over a dog because something's gone wrong.
I feel like he's legally mine, I definitely wouldn't want anyone else to have him.
Travis's former marriage ended, leaving him to ask,
What happens with the dogs? And, that was a little bit of a point of contention, and that's something that I didn't really want us to have to go through again later on down the track.
But if you're going to have a prenup anyway that's going to cover your assets, why not include your pets?
It's quite difficult to negotiate. They require a lot of thought on what needs to go in, and it's a delicate process to navigate for any couple.
Gary Yan is a partner at Coote Family Lawyers.
I think it's a sign of a healthy relationship that people are able to talk about what could happen when things do go wrong.
In terms of relationships nowadays, prenups are becoming more common, and as we have children later and perhaps accumulate a few furry babies before we enter into a relationship.
Nikki Neville-Jones is a family lawyer and former chair of the Animal Welfare Committee. She says, unlike children, in the eyes of the law, pets are simply considered property.
So unfortunately, in terms of the Family Law Act, grandmother's table and your little dog, Fido, are considered to be exactly the same.
They'd be lost without each other. I would rather have them be with one of us than try and separate them.
On that basis, Casey and Travis's prenup states the dogs will stay together under the care of Casey, leaving Travis to also break up with the dogs.
Oh, look, honestly, the prospect would devastate me. But at least I know that they'd be together, I know that they'd be cared for, they'd be loved.
And when you can't agree who gets to keep the pet, many are left to give them away.
About 30% of all animals surrendered to Lord Smith are because of relationship breakdowns, and it's really quite sad when you see that happening to a family.
Serena Hogg is the General Manager of the Lord Smith Adoption Hub in Melbourne.
Owning an animal is a very large responsibility. We want to make sure that when someone does take home a pet, they've really thought about that pet being a part of their lives for the next 10 or 20 years.
We hope we never need to use it, but at least we've had the discussion and have a plan that in case something does happen, then at least we know we're not going to go to court.
And at any point in a relationship, changes can be made to prenups as long as both parties agree.